All right, I'd like to welcome everyone inside North Hill Bowl for the 17th annual Morris Anderson Memorial Shootout here on NDBowltv. I'm Darren, Seanie alongside Ken Fletcher once again. Ken, welcome back to NDBowltv.
Glad to be back in Minot as always.
We have just completed the position round here at the shootout. We are tallying scores, but we do believe we have our top five. In the top seed is Josh Link. Number 2 is Nick Heilemann. Number 3 is Brady Stearns. Number 4 is Eric Harvey. And coming in at the number 5 is Aaron Petrowitz. So that match will start here momentarily once they make those scores official. And those players will get 2 shots on each lane, and then we'll be underway. Really quick, while we're waiting for those official scores, let's go over what happened yesterday. Brady Stearns led the way with an 8-game total of 1733. He is the defending champion and will be on our show here today. And making the cut, the final position was Mike Larsen, who was on the show last year. He was 49 under. He had a rough 165 game 8, but he did manage to squeak in. So good bowling by everyone, but minus 49 is a pretty tough pattern out there. How did it play for you?
We don't need to get into how I bowled yesterday, but it was one of the more difficult patterns I think we've seen up here in quite some time. Little room for error. It's, you get it in the middle of the lane because of how flat it played, and it would hook. And, natural progression for most people is, hey, let's move left. But that's just not the way that it worked. And, you could find yourself in jail real quick, as I did quite often. And, as evidenced by what Mike shot his last game, it can go south very quickly.
Right, and let's talk about the pattern for a second. The pattern was a 38-foot pattern with 28, almost 29 mils. So it was a heavy volume but a shorter pattern. The ratio is about 2.28 to 1, so it was a very flat pattern. And most of the taper within that pattern was between 5 and 10. So it didn't really matter where you played through the fronts. It was a matter of where your break point was.
Yep.
And if you kept your break point outside of 10 and just found the right ball to fit, everyone had a chance to get to the pocket. You'll see on our show today, we got some players with a lot of hand. We have some players playing with urethane up the ditch.
Yep.
So we're going to have a lot of different styles on our show today. We have 3 past champions on the show. Eric Harvey won it back in 2010,
I believe it was right around 2010.
9, 10, or 11, somewhere in there, Eric Harvey won. Brady Stearns is our defending champion, and then Nick Hallman won in 2017. So we have 3 champions on our show, along with Aaron Petrowitz and Josh Link. So an exciting show up ahead. So if you could tell everyone to share the stream on social media, that would be great. Please hit that subscribe button on your YouTube player. We are marching towards 1,000 subscribers. We are about 100 away, so please help us out there. If you would like to know where any of your favorite bowlers have finished the tournament, please let us know, and we'll try to fill you in there. We do have official standings. Thank you, Stu. Coming in on the top spot was Josh Link at 24.58. So that is a 10-game total. That includes the bonus pins. We have Nick Heilemann in second at 23.54. Brady Stearns at 23.16. Eric Harvey at 22.51. And Aaron Petrowitz at 21.81. So that is your final 5 officially. Eric Harvey versus Aaron Petrowitz on our featured pair here very soon.
Is Aaron Petrowitz. Number 4 with a 22.51 is Mr. Eric Harvey. Number 3 with a 23.16 is Brady Stearns. Number 2 with a 23.54 is Andy Mills' partner, Nick Heilemann. And top qualifier for today is Josh Link with a 24.54. If you guys want to stand up front, we'll snap a picture. We're going to do 21-22 for a practice pair. And we'll snap a quick picture and we'll get you guys rolling.
It's a little bit different thing that they've been doing today.
Yeah.
I suppose some of the guys like to get out of town early, and especially with the way the weather played out today.
Yeah, the weather is actually not very good outside, so for those of you on your way home already and watching on mobile, please drive safe. And a few of these players have quite a long drive ahead of them, a few that are on our show, so.
Nothing I don't think the Wisconsin guys are unfamiliar with, though.
No, they said last year was a pretty bad drive for them. I think Rob told me yesterday during qualifying that they got home at 4 in the morning last year. It was such a bad drive out towards Wisconsin. So you never know what you're going to get. It's North Dakota. It's winter. It's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we're heading down to the KFYR TV Bowling Classic next weekend. NDBowltv will not be there, but we will be bowling in it. And I know they were talking a little freezing rain on Friday possible, so the Saturday morning drive could be interesting, but we'll see. You'll find full coverage of that tournament on ndbowling.com. We'll do a couple articles on that one, so. Again, these players will have 2 shots on each lane. Eric Harvey is the higher seed, so he will pick starting lane.
Should be pretty interesting this first match. Both bowlers coming off a pretty good game to finish off position round.
Right, entering the position round, Eric Harvey and Matt Payne were actually tied for the 5-6. And Aaron Petrowitz was the 7, and he shot 244 with an open in the 10th and was able to jump into the show. Eric Harvey had, 260?
267 to beat Matt.
But the top 3 were just so far ahead of everyone else. The combination of Josh Link, Nick Heilemann, and Brady Stearns, they kind of took control of everyone today. And they all played different styles, too. You know, Josh Link is hooking the ball, a lot of power in his game.
He'll be a fun one to watch.
Nick Heilemann, if any of you have watched our shows in the past, loves playing the gutter on Sunday here at the shootout. That's where he was today. And Brady Stearns, if you watched last year, urethane from right. So
yep, it'll be a right-handed version of what it looks like Eric's going to be doing.
Correct. He's also throwing urethane. I think he switched to that around game 6 or so, and then found a good look with that. So he's been comfortable ever since, and as the only lefty on our show, should be good for him.
Yeah, he could very well be a handful if he gets lined up quickly.
As you can see, Aaron, a little more of a finesse game from left, so he's got that natural hold in his game that I know we've seen quite a bit here in North Dakota. So I know Aaron's made our show at the Classic a couple times, so not his first time here on NDBowltv. Eric, of course, was up in Manitoba. He's won twice up there, was on our show last, 2 weeks ago? Did he make the cut? No, he didn't make the show. He fell out right at the last game, so.
Yeah, but he was 1 year before, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he did win Manitoba last year, yeah. And before we get started, we do want to remind everyone that Ebonite is the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowltv. We are happy to announce that the Brunswick Bowling Products have agreed to sponsor the High Plains Bowling Network starting August 1st of 2020, so for next season. We are excited about that. And again, connect with us on social media. Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and please hit that subscribe button on your YouTube player. That would help. We are about 100 short of 1,000 subscribers. So if you could help us out, that would be great.
For those of you that did not make top 5, we do have checks ready at the front desk.
And if you're just joining us, please hop in the chat room. Let us know where you're watching from, where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions, want to know where your favorite bowler finished, let us know. Just narrowly missing the top 5 was Matt. Oh, well, we're back there. Well, hopefully.
Yeah,
Nevin, thank you for tuning in. Do appreciate you once again.
Oh, always good to hear from Nevin.
And Mark. Dave Heatherly as well. A good start from our first match here.
I was walking up and down the lanes a lot, and the inside shot where Aaron is playing looked very touchy, but if there was a place that you could play at the higher end of the house where we're at, it was a little better than the low end, so no surprise to see he's staying in there, but we'll see how that holds up for him.
And was it
Going to
the
get a
10?
late, no,
All right.
got the late messenger.
Good break.
That could be the trouble that he runs into is, if he can get to the pocket like it looks like he won't have any problem, it's can he get the corners out?
Aaron on the spare. He's good there. Joe Scott in our chat room has a question. How close was Matt? He was in 11th. He finished at a 20.32, and the cut to make the show was Aaron Petrowitz at 21.81, so he was still about 150 pins out. Matt was a champion back in that 2010-2011 range as well. Him and Eric won back-to-back years. Good shot there. If Eric gets lined up as the only guy on the left side, he's got potential to keep going here. I know he's got to go through some past champions, but
He does, but just having sat here and watched position round and a lot of games before that, there's going to be some tough bowlers ahead. But lefty by itself, especially if you've got a good look like he does, as evidenced by the PBA, sometimes they're tough to beat.
Yep. And unfortunately, in our day and age, the lefties, it's kind of a feast or famine thing. But I believe on this pattern, it wasn't so like one way or the other. I think there were some lefties that had some success here this weekend, and then there were some that didn't make the cut. So being the high lefty in any tournament, I think, is pretty good within itself. Good start there for Eric. He's missed once in his last 12 shots going back to the position round, even though he was on 25 and 26 for that game. So pretty dialed in.
Yeah, he looks dialed in, looks like he's pretty focused. You can kind of see by his mannerisms already, but that can change very quickly on this pattern as well.
Yeah, it's so touch and go in the middle. I know when I was qualifying yesterday, I tried to stay as far right as I could, but at some point you cross on certain pairs where you just couldn't get the ball up the hill enough on the right side or staying right, and there was so much traffic in the middle that there was a little more push in the middle, but it was touch and go. And that's exactly what Aaron is seeing here.
Yep, good spare. It's only 3 frames in, but you just keep your marks up, and all it takes is one shot when he's right back in the match.
I know one thing I found hard yesterday was to get strings of strikes going. Through 5 games, I didn't shoot lower than a 189, but I only had a 2-teen max out of it. So strikes were hard to come by. So if you put a string together on our show today, you're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good shot there from Aaron. Let's see if Eric can keep it going.
And the timely telephone call right in the middle of Eric's approach. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a load right now.
I think the key for Eric is being able to stay with it at the bottom of the swing. Every now and then you see Eric kind of cut off his follow through, doesn't stay with the shot, and those are the ones where he usually misses. Once he's confident through the ball and stays with it, 9 times out of 10 he's going to strike.
Yep. The curious thing to watch is, as he gets a couple games in here, if he is able to go that long, how does the front of the lane hold up for him?
Sure.
You know, throwing urethane, it could make a tricky situation, but early on looks really good. Oh,
Got away with
you
it.
can see he didn't like that, but
Got away with it. A urethane trip 5 by Eric Harvey.
That's some old school right there.
That's champion carry right there. That's what I'll call it.
Oh, absolutely.
So Petrowitz now up in the 5th.
Needs to get a couple together here just to show Eric he's still around.
It's okay if it hooks.
Well, got the 10 out again, but you're not going to win by leaving 7 pins all day.
And really, out of the righties on our show, Aaron's playing the farthest left, and that's kind of the obstacle you face playing there is getting enough roll on the ball, turn on the ball to get the corners out. I know I ran into it yesterday. A lot of the other righties ran into it yesterday, and that's probably why you see the other righties on our show playing further right having more success.
Yeah, there was a spot out there where if you did get it to, that 3-4-5 board at the break point, it would hook.
Yep.
But you've got to be really good with it at the bottom, and with Aaron's game, I'm not sure he can get it to hit hard enough from that kind of angle.
See, and that's the thing you run into. He tried to kind of give it a little more at the bottom, probably pushed it further down the lane, didn't have time to roll up, and you run into a 210. Meanwhile, you have a guy on the left side who's playing straight up the boards, gets the ball into a full roll, carry percentage a lot higher, so it's very tough. And when we get to our top seed, wait till you see how Josh Link gets on the ball. This guy hooks it.
It's I'm not even sure who would be a comparable guy to throw at with him, but it's something to watch, and he will be a handful with how well he bowled today and threw the ball.
And he's kind of on a hot streak. I did read that he won the Storm Utah Open last week on a pretty good field, so
I would not be surprised at that.
To win that tournament's pretty good. And we'll be seeing Josh later in our telecast here. Eric Harvey with the front 6, which does remind me that we had a big 300 game pot this year of $2,400, and it was not won.
Yep.
And that was only for qualifying, so if Eric were to convert here, that does not apply. So next year, I believe anyways, don't quote me on that, but I do believe next year the pot will go to $2,700 for a 300 game.
Had a couple people get close. I believe Jack Nelson had first 7. Ryan Krabenoff, who made our cut as well today, had first 9.
On a ugly pair that we know as 15 and 16 here at North Hill Bowl.
Oh, wow.
So now let's take his last 2 shots on 29. The 2 shots ago he let go wide. It got up the hill, trip 5. This one he was asking for it to hold, and it went high flush. I think he's in a good spot right now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really good obviously really good this game, and he'll be tough next game as well. Yeah, there's just that little bit wide, and it just won't quite make it back.
And this game that Aaron's thrown has been good all week. It's just not good in this match. But all week in the qualifying round, 180s and 190s were really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Minus 49 made the cut. Let's be real here.
Yeah, you catch the right pair, you shoot a 240, you see it all too often. Brady Stearns, our top qualifier yesterday, had 277, but he didn't shoot anything really huge. There's 236, but again, Mike Larsen would be the perfect example. He had 278 game 3, but other than that, 2-0, 2-0, 180, 190.
Yeah, he had some rough games. I was actually bowling with him all day yesterday, and he had a 160, 140, but he had a couple big games that got him there. So this pattern's tricky. It's relatively flat, 2.28 to 1 ratio, so very low scoring pace.
Yeah, and let's be frank. If Eric hadn't made the show here, I think 180, 190 would be really good from Aaron
Yep.
right now. But, a lefty with the look that Eric has at the moment, it's tough to beat.
And let's throw it back to, what was it, about game 8? Eric actually had a match on this pair and didn't fare
Yep.
so well, but he wasn't throwing it that well either.
Yeah, he had a couple rough shots towards the beginning through a 4-bagger in the middle, and like you said, then it was one of those where he just you could see it off of his hand. It wasn't great, but he's corrected that obviously and looks really comfortable, except for that shot right there.
Yeah, that one just kind of fell out of it a little bit, but that's okay.
Yep. Yeah, he was probably starting to maybe think about a 300 there, but we weren't going to say anything quite yet.
We were already talking about it, don't worry.
Well, all right. We may have been, but
The Booth Jinx is in high form, mid-season form.
and frankly, at this point, he knows he has the match well in hand, so it's you can afford that.
Yep, just get into a good rhythm. Up next will be defending champion Brady Stearns, who made the jump from Ebonite over to Storm in the off-season, so could he win in back-to-back years with 2 different companies?
That would be quite the feat. I mean, there's only been one repeat champion in the history of this event. To have somebody who could go back-to-back, that would be something.
Yeah, pretty impressive. So our next match will likely be an all-urethane match between Eric Harvey and Brady Stearns, so tune in. Please share the stream with everyone you know on social media, and please hit that subscribe button, as we are about 100 away from our goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're hoping to reach that this season. And if you're just joining us, our next show will be in Moorhead in about a month,
In my hometown.
down at the NDBowling.com Classic, the season's final major, where we will crown the NDBowling.com Player of the Year, as well as give away the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy. If you want complete details of that event, please go to NDBowling.com and click on the upcoming events page for all the details. It is open to all bowlers. So please make a trip to Moorhead February 29th and March 1st, and we will go live March 1st for live coverage of the finals at approximately 1 o'clock. So Aaron Petrowitz here now, finishing up in the 10th. He will take home 5th place money, which is still pretty good money at this tournament with 114 entries, I believe. So
Yep.
a lot of good prize money, as you see all the sponsors there on the masking units. We do thank all the great sponsors that make this tournament possible.
And it's a nice way to finish here for Aaron, too. I mean, 240 just to get in this, and, I'm sure he wasn't even thinking about having a chance at this, and then, you shoot 240 position round with nothing really going on around you.
And really, this featured pair has been pretty tricky all day for the right side, so be interesting to see what Brady does, kind of what he does in his practice shots. You and I were alluding to it before the show started, how we thought the right lane was hooking a little bit more for
Yep.
the righties. So
Yeah, it appeared to be, or at least being a little bit more true, where 29 was maybe a little bit laboring down lane. We're seeing a lot of light hits, 2 pins, 2 tens. Aaron left a 210 on 29, so it could be a little tricky, and we'll see how it plays out. But not the way Eric wanted to finish that game. But you know what? He was in autopilot mode those last 3 frames, so.
Well, that'll conclude the first match, 244 to 190. Eric Harvey over Aaron Petrowitz. Brady Stearns will now get 2 shots in each lane. Again, I'm Darren Seanie alongside Ken Fletcher in the booth. What is it, our 5th year in a row up here at the shootout here on NDBowltv?
Yep, I think it was, I lose track. They all run together anymore, it seems
Right.
like.
We've done all the same tournaments here for probably 5 or 6 years in a row. So, and you can find all of the old shows on the YouTube archive. So as you're watching on YouTube, please look back in the archive for old shows. And this show will also be in the archive. So if you weren't able to catch all of the show or would like to watch a rerun, just check back to youtube.com/ndbowling and watch our old shows.
Interesting to see Brady right now in warm-ups choosing to try something a little left.
And I do recall him doing the same last year before he entered the featured pair, throwing, I believe, a purple urethane and a web tour. So, no stranger to making big moves on the lane. Brady is also one of the few with a 900 series out there, so very talented bowler. All right, Eric Parvey has, or actually Brady Stearns has made the choice for Eric Parvey to start on 29. In our quarterfinal match, defending champion Brady Stearns against past champion Eric Parvey. Eric Parvey looking for a major number 5 on a very short list of bowlers. Good shot there.
Yeah, nice opening shot.
And thinking back on it, I believe there's only 4 bowlers with 5 or more majors. Maybe only 3. I believe it's Michael Schmidt,
Yep.
Jeff Smith, and Dave Schick.
Can't honestly think of anybody else who would be up there. I mean, I know
I
there's
have
some.
I have the whole list, but I can't quite remember if that was the 3. But
Yeah, because I believe he's tied with Matt Smolin, who has
Matt
4.
Smolin, Andy Mills, Darren Hansen, I believe, Mike Morris.
Yep.
So Brady did decide to go back to the right.
Interesting. And it looked like he had an okay look with both of them, but it's going to take a game to do it, and I think that whatever he's seeing is obviously what's going to work best, he thinks. So.
Stearns now up in the second.
Choosing to go urethane on both lanes, and that hooked way early, and it's fortunate. And I'm never going to second guess somebody who is as good as Brady is, but sitting back here, you wonder if that's the right call or not.
Yeah, now he's in a weird spot. Knowing your opponent's pretty much locked in, you almost have to make the move quick. But what do you do? And this is why he's won this tournament before. We'll see what he does.
Yeah. Again, you don't ever second guess somebody like Brady, but it's going to take a game, and is he playing for the I know I can shoot 2-0, 2-teen game, or maybe I can shoot 220, and Chad Nelson walking in right here and then talking. So we'll see what happens here. But could be a couple big shots from air to maybe force Brady's hand as well.
Yeah.
And there's one of them.
Pretty locked in.
Yep. Seemed to be the one that he was maybe a little more suspect on, or he wasn't sure on a couple shots. Or am I mixing him up now?
Right, yeah.
Well, the right lane was where he finished last game, and he missed the head pin 2 in a row.
Correct,
so
yeah.
We'll see what happens, but big shot early right here. And dead flush, so.
Oh, nobody can see the scores. Thank you for letting us know. There are the scores. You had one job.
Well, we can't remember everything sometimes. Little distracted at some other things at the moment.
Yes, from what we hear is true. Kobe Bryant was part of a helicopter crash outside of L.A., and he is no longer. So
that's
sad times for everyone.
Yeah, won't dwell on this very long because of where we're at, but it's a shame to see for somebody like him.
Right, and it was a morning after LeBron actually passed him on the all-time scoring list last night. So.
Yep, and you can see it right now. Brady already made the switch.
He made the move, but did he go too far left?
And this is a big spare. You almost think he needs to make this right now.
So now it makes you wonder if, when Nick Heilemann comes over here, he's been playing that up the boards line. He kind of played in the position round on this pair and didn't quite have the best look either. It's going to be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, it's close. It's if anything, that gives him some momentum, but he needs to do something, and he looks like he already is putting that away.
Yep. That was a high road X, so I do believe he's just going to try to tighten up with the urethane, but we will see. He does have one of the best back here helping him, Chad Nelson.
Yeah, I think on this lane, from what I could see, it looked like he got a little left and it checked up early on him, and that's the issue with urethane. You get it into a spot where there's no oil in the heads, and it's going to do exactly what it did. So we'll see what he does here.
Yeah, it's picking up too early. So is that a result of the head starting to go and that urethane's starting to look a little too early on the lane?
He's bowled a couple games here. I know Nick Heilemann has bowled at least a couple games on this pair, so they may be starting to go on him. And unfortunate time for it to happen for Brady, but you know, again, a spare he needs to make.
Yeah, a good spare shooter based off his last shot. Give it a run.
That's close again.
In
Are you
front of the
kidding?
9.
That's the second time I've seen that happen this weekend.
In front of the 9. That's right up there with the head pin washout conversions to where you send the head pin around the 10.
Yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things. You make a good shot like that, and that happens.
Well, if you're Eric Harvey, you turn this one on now. See blood in the water, especially a defending champion. Take it and run.
Doesn't like that was right all the way.
And unfortunately, someone
So
had a
like
food buzzer.
Yeah, beeper going off right in his backswing.
You know, all these bowlers have been bowling since 9 this morning. A lot of them are getting their lunch, and unfortunately, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, it's the one detriment to being this quiet. Like, careful. Oof, that was close. You go back to the PBA a couple weeks ago with, the Hall of Fame Classic and Tommy Jones winning, and you could hear the background music.
Yep.
And honestly, I think that's a good thing. It doesn't have
Yes.
to be anything loud, overpowering, but
Especially with that many people in the building. And I know we
Yeah.
don't have many in the building at this point, but things like that, the phone calls,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
the little things like that can make, like that shot right there, can make a huge difference. So something just to kind of drown out the potential distractions like that, I think are a really good thing. But
Yeah. Just got to regroup, though.
Yep.
Good shot there.
Yep. And, fortunate for him, he made the spare, came back with a good shot, so
Yep.
he's
and
all right.
And every shot for that Eric throws, as long as he posts it at the bottom and stays with it, I'm looking at the 7 pin. And if the 7 pin goes, he's going to be there. So,
Yep.
and again, the winner of this match will take on 2017 champion Nick Heilemann. And Josh Link is our top qualifier. So, a couple more matches to go. Please share the stream with everyone you know on social media. Stearns now up in the 5th. Looks like a better shot.
Yep, that was a good one. It's like he's almost trying to swing it a little bit,
Yep.
which is not something you see very often with urethane. But if anybody can do it, it's Brady.
Yeah, he's very successful with urethane. I do recall back at the Kickoff Classic a few years back as the only one throwing urethane. I think he led match play by about 200 pins, and it wasn't even close. He found something with urethane and just ran with it, so I always look to see him throwing urethane every tournament I go to, and when he is, he's probably towards the top of the leaderboard.
It really fits his game. It's a little better. Is it going to hit, though?
Yeah.
And that's looks like he must have moved off of those couple high hits.
And 29 is the lane that's kind of hanging a little bit for bowlers on the right side, so
Yep, just you get under that head oil, and then all of a sudden it pushes too far, and urethane just doesn't have the pop. But still not out of the match. You convert to spare.
good spare, but he's going to need some help. And once again, what's been a problem for a lot of the righties all week, and even most of the lefties that have been bowling, is stringing strikes. So with what Eric's doing out here, it's going to be really hard to beat him unless you put some strikes together. Again, the winner of the shootout will take home $4,000. Aaron Petrowitz was our 5th place finisher. He took home $1,000. Got a little quick with that one, but makeable spare nonetheless.
a shot to, maybe let Brady hang around a little, and, good technique on this pair. Go to the other side of the lane and shoot at it, and don't do that, though. Yeah. And, just like that, the match flips a little bit.
Yeah, Brady's really only down 23 now with a strike up in the 7th there, so.
Yeah, you think Eric will come back with a good shot here on 29, but, a couple shots, do they start to linger in your head a little bit?
Right, and that right lane, like you were alluding to earlier, is that lane to finish the last match where a few errant shots that he had, so maybe Brady knew that, and that's why he wanted him to finish over there.
Good shot again.
So don't think he's missed on the left lane either game yet, so.
No, he hasn't. Not yet. So again, for Brady, it's a couple big shots. He needs to put together a double. Close. Almost looked like he was just a little soft on it. Now what does Brady do on 29 again?
Yeah, this last ball he threw there was a soft 10.
And coming off 4-9 before that, it's
Yep.
you almost feel like maybe you're trapped at the moment, but you got to come up with your best right here. Give yourself a chance.
And wrapped 10.
Threw a good one.
It's going to be really curious to see, or interesting to see, what Nick is going to do in his practice shots, because his last game he bowled was on this pair in the position round. I think he shot about 190. He lost to Josh Link, who kind of locked in that #1 seed. But, Nick's kind of walking down here, trying to see who's winning this match, see what the lanes are doing. But it'll be interesting to see what he does.
You'd have to think he wants to stay right if he can, but he's not one to be afraid to move if he has to. And I have a feeling, that he might try and move a little bit into where Josh is likely going to play, and take his chances there, because playing up the boards as a righty right now does not look like it's the best option.
Yeah, wherever you go, you're going to have to find a way to strike. Because Eric's not slowing down, and he's the only one playing that line, so unless something moves over there, he's pretty comfortable at the moment.
And one more strike here on his good left lane will lock this match up.
As Brady can only max out at 201, Eric's already sitting in the 220s, so.
It's going to do it right there. Even with an open in the 10th, that's 2 teens, high 2 O's. So
Eric Harvey will move on to our semifinal match against 2017 champion and I believe was last season's runner-up against Brady Stearns in our semifinal match. Nick Heilemann on his way. Nick has been a mainstay on our show at this tournament. I believe he's made the show probably like 6 out of 7 years he's been up here, it seems like.
It's something crazy like that. You can always count on Nick being there because, as we've talked about multiple times this weekend, the gutter is always in play on day 2. And where does Nick thrive at? He's out at the gutter.
Well, this will be the biggest test because that gutter seems a little iffy at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But the potential key for him is he is and has been throwing reactive.
Sure.
Whereas most everybody else, and like Brady right now, is throwing urethane. He has been throwing reactive, so we'll see.
Maybe he won't get that early read in the front part of the lane that we're seeing Brady get here and have to try to get through and still have enough to get the corners out. So.
Yeah, and for Brady right there, of course, the double at the end of the day when it doesn't matter anymore.
Always easy when it doesn't matter.
Yeah. See the shake of the head, and it's like, yeah.
I do recall earlier today that Nick Hallman was talking to, I believe it was one of the tournament directors, Roy Selk, saying he has finished every spot in the stepladder 1 through 5 over his career here at the shootout.
That wouldn't surprise me.
So Nick's been all over NDBowltv on this tournament. So Eric Harvey will win our quarterfinal match. We'll take on Nick Heilemann in the semifinals. So stay tuned. And I don't know about you, but Eric's not slowing down, especially on the left lane.
Yeah. Again, it's, after 2 games now, it's curious to see if it's going to continue to hold up for him. But, 220 this game and 240 last game, that's some big numbers today. We did not see very many games over 220.
Right, yeah, all week it's been pretty rough out there. Tough sledding. Once again, it's a 2.28 to 1 ratio oil pattern. Very flat in the middle part of the lane. So scores were low as 49 under was the cut to the top 30 today. As 114 people entered in top 30 advanced to today, where they did a round robin match play with their groups. They were in 3 groups of 10. And then 1 position round game in the 10th game to determine the final 5. So while we have a quick minute, I would like to remind everyone that Ebonite is the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowltv through the remainder of the 2019-2020 season. Starting August 1st of 2020, Brunswick Bowling Products has agreed to sponsor the High Plains Bowling Network. So please be on the lookout for a few changes here. And again, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and if you would be so kind as to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. We're about 100 away, so if you would be so kind as to hit that subscribe button, I would appreciate that. Again, I'm Darren Seanie alongside Ken Fletcher. bringing you live coverage of the 17th annual Morris Anderson Memorial Shootout here at North Hill Bowl in Minot on the High Plains Bowling Network. Okay, Nick Heilemann now up, getting 2 shots in each lane. Looks like he's still playing straight, but paralleled left a little more than the other players.
Yeah, the first 2 shots on the right lane looked like he was trying to stay right, but second one checked, so I'm wondering if that was maybe a move to see what he's got. And, it could be a good move. Nick's got that, heavy forward roll that just allows him to stay further right than anybody.
And he looks like he's throwing a Brunswick Tenacity. Nice. It's an older ball, but it's a ball he always throws up here in Minot on day 2. So
yeah, I think Andy Mills was commenting about that earlier this morning. But if it works, which it obviously has done wonders for him up here, why wouldn't you keep bringing it?
Again, Nick Heilemann did win this tournament in 2017. Eric Harvey, a past champion as well, back in the early 2010s, 2010, 2011 time frame, somewhere in there.
And as has been the theme so far, is looks like Nick is going to have Eric start the match, finish on the right lane again.
Yep.
It hasn't come into play yet.
And before we forget, we're going to get those scores up nice and early for you. And we're underway here in our semifinal. The winner will take on Josh Link in the championship match.
Ooh.
Well, a little different start. First little miss on that left lane.
Yeah, you could see that ball start to read just a couple feet earlier right there, and so he's wondering when this might start seeing the breakdown, and it could be right here.
And shout out to Tad Schmidt, Team NDBowling.com member and 2-time NDBowling.com major winner in our chat room. Hopefully we see you next week in Mandan.
Always good to hear from Tad. Well, is that the the opening that Nick needed to see right away?
Well, let's see what he does here. Oh, looks pretty good.
As you would expect.
The reactive versus urethane. We're going to see a lot of revs coming up here in the final as Josh Link is down on 21 and 22 warming up as our top seed. He was able, with that rev rate, to kind of stand towards the middle of the lane, pitch it out towards that break point. It was pretty consistent for him. And with his ball speed, he really can throw lumber around. So
yeah, he, I watched him a little bit, and he just overpowered the pattern.
That push, it did.
It's a good opening double from Nick.
Being able to see that ball push on 29 is probably a really good thing for him. A little confidence and a little bit of room.
And we'll see what Eric can do here. 6'8's not a bad shot, but again, is it starting to break down in front of him? We'll find out here.
Yeah, I'm always interested to see that first shot after a tough break. See how he can regroup here in the second.
Oh, you can see it right there. It was just kind of
missed it
lost
at the
the follow
bottom.
through.
Yeah.
You could tell.
We were talking about that a little earlier. If the few shots every now and then that he just doesn't stay with it at the bottom, kind of loses it down at the bottom of the swing, abbreviated follow through. And right off his hand, he's hoping for a makeable just to get through the frame.
Yep, and you know, right side spares for lefties, left side spares for righties. They were tough. You know, if you're trying to hook at it, especially with the back pin like this, they're not easy this week. But
Yeah, good spare.
That's a very good spare right there.
There were a few sleeper spares or the dreaded 3, 6, 9, 10 I left yesterday, and I'm actually surprised I picked it up. With something like this, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not throwing straight out of spare and sleeper spares, like you said, they're so difficult this week.
Again, we're in our semifinal match here at the 2020 Morris Anderson Memorial Shootout. I'm Darren Seanie alongside Ken Fletcher, bringing you live coverage of the finals here on NDBowltv. It's a better shot.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a move in off the 6-8, and that one didn't have much on it, or not enough on it at least, to kick it out. You can kind of see it in his face, too. He knew it.
So the first little bit of adversity here for Eric Harvey. We'll see if he tries to make a little move on the lane or what he does. But in those first couple matches, those strikes are coming pretty easy for him, and now we're through 3 here, and he's going to start searching.
Yeah, like I said, it's first adversity he's had. He hasn't been down. He hasn't really been pushed at all. So, you know, if Nick were to throw up a couple more here, it could get interesting real quick for him.
Shot looks pretty good.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure if Nick goes on to keep winning these matches, there's going to be a petition going around next year for him to get rid of that ball.
Oh, that wouldn't be shocking. You know who would probably be the one leading the way? I think his partner, Andy Mills.
I don't know about that, because
Well,
they're probably splitting money, so he's probably like, you better buy 4 more of those. Of course, Nick is part of Nicholas J's Pro Shop down in La Crosse, Wisconsin, so part of Team Brunswick. Up now in the 4th, doesn't like it.
Whoops.
No first errant shot there, but it is makeable.
Yeah, and you know, the slight chink that maybe Eric needed to see.
Gonna give it a run. Yeah, just not enough.
Not
but
quite. Well,
still has a lead in the match, but gives Eric a little opening.
yeah, double from Eric in this single-digit match. See what he can come up with after a couple of marginal shots to start the game.
Stayed with that one, gave it a little extra at the bottom, and
Yep, that was a lot better.
again, if you are new to NDBowling.com and would like to look for a tournament in the area, please go to NDBowling.com, click on the upcoming events page, and we do have a few tournaments coming up, including the KFYR TV Bowling Classic next weekend in Mandan. 3 weeks from now, we'll be in Aberdeen for the Sherburne Scratch Singles, and then we'll be in Moorhead February 29th for the season's final major, as Eric Harvey puts up a double. So
Yeah, he let go of that, and you could kind of see the way he just slumped a little. He didn't like it, but
I think he made a move on that lane, and maybe he wasn't too sure about it. And
it could have been. I mean, he had to try something right there, and you know, you get the double, and you know, you're off and running. Hopefully.
all right, let's see if Nick can bounce back here. looks okay. Did get the 10 out a little bit late.
Yeah, and that seems to be the one issue with him and playing there with that ball. You know, he seems to leave a lot of wrap tens, especially just because it never quite finishes hard enough at times. But you'll take single pin spares right now.
Yeah, absolutely. On the spare.
Nick, one of the few guys that throws is reactive at it. Is that what I just saw?
Yep, just flat, straight at it with a reactive. I guess it frees up a spot in your bag when you travel and no need for a spare ball. So.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And the way he can come up behind the ball, I mean, you can see it. It's just straight forward roll. It's, you know, about as good as, you know, Norm Duke does it.
Yep, and I honestly wish I could do that because I could bring another ball to
Oh, absolutely.
tournaments. So better shot on 29, got the 10 out.
All right, well.
We got a close match. If Eric puts a double up here, we got a 3-pin match. Harvey now up in the 6th.
Looks pretty close, and it just never picked up.
Yeah, and you saw him kind of motion there that he looped it.
Yep. The patented just flip your hand around it.
Yeah, try to steer the ball a little bit.
Yeah. Do that so often myself. And here he's going back to the right on this spare. He missed this last time he shot at it.
Yeah. Got an extra
Did
pin
it again.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the reason they're playing those spares like that is because the middle is so touch and go. It is so hard to try to hook at a spare like that because you don't know what the middle's going to give you. And throwing cross lane at it brings a chop into play. So I know players try to throw at that spare a little bit differently to kind of decrease the likelihood of that.
It absolutely makes sense, but for you know, for some people like myself who like to drop the shoulder into it, doing exactly what Eric did on that is so easy to do.
Doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, fortunate to get the baby split out. So
that was a very good break to only leave the 5-pin there.
Well, most of the crowd here, hands are up in the air. For many of the league bowlers out there who like to do that for their fellow friends.
Well, again,
A long-standing joke among league bowlers. So I know this is not an easy spare this week. So
no, but I can't help but think about the PBA telecast a week ago. When I think it was Tommy Jones left it and Chris Barnes
yeah, as good friends.
was all disappointed and I mean it's obvious fun amongst friends there.
Well, Nick Heilemann with a big shot here to take a commanding lead in this match.
He's been pretty solid on the right lane so far.
Will it hook enough? A little late
Same
again.
thing.
Yep.
Just letting Eric hang around with that.
It makes you wonder if that urethane down the lane is creating just enough hang for that ball to come in late to the pocket and wrap 10 every time.
It very well may be, but you know, with the way this match is going right now, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm Nick, I'm taking that, and I will take my chances at trying to kick one out.
Okay, on the spare once again. Stay clean. He's got a 22-pin lead in the match. Both on spares in the 7th. And with the situation we got here, Nick will actually finish the match first. So
Taking a hook. Oof.
Okay, that's a good 9.
Yeah, he's very fortunate there.
Good 9.
You know, I mean, we were saying it right away. That left lane looked like it was hanging a little bit for the righties. Might be rearing its head again. But on the spare, so he, keeps his lead. And looking at the count, that's all too important right now, too.
Absolutely, as Nick can max out at 223. Eric's still got, what, 2 teen left? 212?
212, so it's very much not over yet if Eric can throw 2 right here.
Yep. But no matter what, Nick can step up and win this match.
Looks look right.
Yeah, he didn't like that one off his hand.
Lucky with only the 2-pin there, but if he doesn't throw a strike in the 9th frame, I don't see him beating Nick. I just don't think there's any way Nick opens again.
Oh, opens are easy to do on this, so again, the count is very important here. Both players working on a spare in the 8th. The lead is 22. Gotta have a strike here for Eric Harvey.
See that read early again.
Makes you wonder if that early split on a good shot kind of made him think a little bit.
Yeah, you start to second guess what the lanes are doing, and before you know it, you're 9 frames in and you've got 180 on the board.
Yeah, 180 left, so just keep it clean here for Nick, and he's going to move on to our championship match for the 2nd year in a row, I do believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it'll be the 3rd year in a row, actually, because I think you are right that it was him and Brady last year, but we could be wrong on that.
We do have complete tournament recaps on NDBowling.com if any of you want to go see what happened in prior years. That looks better. I think he tried to get that one started off left to not belly it too much, but
yeah, just, again, you just need 2 marks. Well, I mean, he doesn't even need 2 marks, but
yeah, spare a good count.
I mean, 1 right here, and then actually 9 pins in the 10th frame would be a tie at worst. But, with Nick, it's just get your spares and finish this off.
Again, Josh Link is our top seed. Take on the winner of this match in the championship match here.
That looks like a left move. Well,
trips out the 9.
Maybe not exactly how we wanted, but yep, that's going to be enough right there. And you saw the handshake. That's winner for Nick Heilemann.
Still a really good tournament for Eric Harvey. I know he'll be disappointed with this match, but he'll go home with a $2,000 check, and it's a good weekend if you ask me.
Absolutely. There are very few bowlers in this building that wouldn't take that if you told them right away that, hey, you're going to take 3rd place.
Yeah, and he took 6th up in Manitoba 2 weeks ago, and now 3rd here in Minot. I'm sure we will see him in Mandan next weekend, looking for the career Grand Slam, as Eric Harvey will look to become the first bowler to win all 4 majors. He is one of, 2 players that have 3 separate majors at the moment?
Yes, I think you're correct, because he was the first, and
then Andy Mills joined him.
Yep.
So, and I don't think we'll be seeing Andy Mills at the KFYR. So, Eric Parvey looking.
Like a little move from Nick to just test the waters there.
I feel like there's one more that has 3 separate majors. I just can't think of them at the moment. And yes, Nevin, you are correct. Josh did win the Storm Utah Open last weekend, so he's on a hot streak. Both pretty talented fields, so.
Yeah, you know, for those of us who have been up here for a few years can remember Josh being here, and he's a physical talent to be sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, he always seemed like he was a little bit wild with it. And, you know, watching him this weekend, he's a lot more under control and looks really good. And I think he's going to be really tough to beat.
Yeah, I agree. He was kind of overpowering this pattern a little bit. Once the pattern broke down, he had it made. Let's look back at what Josh did in qualifying. He qualified 16th, so right in the middle. Had a couple 160s in there, but a couple big games as well. He qualified 16th at -9. And then today he shot a 24.58 for 10 games. That does include bonus pins on wins, so a very good day for him. And he's now in our championship match against a guy who's been in the championship match quite a few times. So,
you know, I'd be curious to see how, you know, Nick stacks up against some of the other people who have made a lot of championship finals, because I bet he's right up there with anyone.
well, I do have that information on the official NDBowling.com computer, so we might allude to that in our recap of this event, which you guys can find on NDBowling.com either tomorrow or Tuesday. And then on about Thursday, we will preview the KFYR TV Bowling Classic happening in Mandan next weekend. So it was Nick Hallman winning in 2017. The year after was Hallman losing to McNeil in the final. So Matt McNeil became the first 2-time winner. And then last season, Brady Stearns defeated Dan Langer in the final, but Heilemann finished 3rd. So
Okay.
this is Heilmann's 3rd championship match at the shootout in 4 years. And he's made the finals the last 4 years, and probably the years before that as well.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was more than that, yep.
Shout out to my kid Ethan watching.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching Josh show practice right here, it's something to see.
Definitely the highest rev rate on our show.
He very well could have them all covered.
And now I believe he has told our scoring guy here, Stu Craig, that he's going to start the match on 29. Once again, we'll get our scores ready so we don't miss a beat like we did earlier in the show.
Well, just from practice, he was coming up light on 29, as we've alluded to through the show. So we'll see if that does, in fact, hold true.
Got some Josh fans in the chat room. Josh out of Montana. Nick Heilemann out of La Crosse, Wisconsin. So that'll be yet another year where the shootout title will leave North Dakota. Eric Parvey was trying to become the 4th winner out of North Dakota, but
First since Matt Smallin, I believe.
yeah, did Eric win the first one, and then Matt won the very next year, I believe?
I think that's what it was. I know we've been going back and forth, but I believe that's what it was.
Okay, first shot for Josh.
And throwing some wood around right away.
Yeah, he was throwing messengers like crazy in the position round. This is a rematch of that position round on the very same pair.
I don't think it'll surprise too many people that this is our final match, the way that these two pretty much dominated match play today.
And shout out to Henry Trutwin in our chat room, also with a very high rev rate.
One of the few people that could probably match Josh.
That's a parallel left for Nick, and kind of missed left too, so if you're going to leave a 310, I think the first frame is a good spot for that. Oddly enough, Simonelli just left a 310 on the show as well. But he's left-handed, so.
Oh, that's different.
As they're in the championship match on the PBA Tour on FS1 at the moment.
It's not.
It wasn't a 310. That would be a 910 on the show. But an early open for Nick.
Well, again, if you're going to open, first frame is where you want it to happen.
Nick looking to become the second repeat winner here at the shootout in 17 years. Josh Link looking for his first NDBowling.com major championship.
All right, well, a better shot there, so. Let's see what Josh can do here in a couple of frames. I mean, we have to think there's no nerves from somebody who just won the Storm Utah Open, but you never know. Yeah. Oh, wow. As we said, he can throw some wood around, but
yeah, that's the truth.
Unfortunately, that one just in front.
Even on like soft hits from Josh, you're still waiting until everything kind of settles before you confirm that there's something left. Okay, on the spare.
Yep.
And that probably would have got the 710. I mean, we saw him earlier kick a pin out to mid lane, so.
Yeah. I'd love to get the radar gun on him, too. It's, you know, they always talk about Osku having probably the fastest spare ball on the tour, but I'd like to think that he can get it up there pretty close.
Well, they do have that here at North Hill Bowl, but I believe they have shut him off since too many open bowlers have abused the system, the technology there.
That doesn't surprise me a whole lot, I guess.
Is it going to hook? I guess I shouldn't really ask that. We're talking about Josh Link. Of course it's going to hook.
He said it. I saw it from him more than anybody that if you got it out to that 3-4-5 with enough hand like he obviously has, it will hook.
Yep.
Now 29 again, I think that's laboring a little bit, which is why he wasn't sure, but you know, if you throw that same shot on 30, that's going to go high flush.
Correct. And really, that's a good spot to play on the fresh. But on the fresh, you miss left. You're missing the head pin left.
Absolutely.
It's a better shot by Nick.
Oh, wow, he got the messenger out of it, though.
Nick's like, I can throw some lumber myself, so.
Not something I think you see from him too often, but very much needed right there, so.
Yeah, about evens up this match early on. Again, Nick is no stranger to championship matches here on NDBowltv. I believe this has got to be close to his 6th title match on NDBowltv in about 4 years. So between here at the shootout, Manitoba, the Classic, all the tournaments he's bowled on NDBowltv.
It's pretty close. Kicks out the 7s. Good shot.
Link now up in the 4th.
Oh, that's left.
Left, but the speed kind of held it on line, so he's got a makeable left.
Yeah, he's got enough loft and enough speed where at least that didn't check up and go through the nose. But when you're staring at a 3-bagger from Nick Heilemann, you need to get a double on the board quick. I couldn't even tell you where that one came from, but good shot from Josh.
But unfortunately for Josh, he's got to finish on that right lane, so he's going to have to figure something out. And maybe those were just a couple bad shots, but he's got that left lane figured out, and he's definitely throwing messengers around, so.
Yeah, it could be a very telling shot in the 6th frame when he comes back up, but, you know, if Nick throws a couple more right here, it's, he could start to get away.
That's left.
Yep.
But it held.
Wow.
I thought that shot was left off his hand. It's very rare to see a shot like that hold here this week. So many shots that were left hooked up and either went nose or even missed the head pin left.
Yep, absolutely. See what Nick can do on 29 here. He's coming light, I believe, the last couple shots, so.
Looks okay.
That's a good shot.
And I will say that I've seen Nick bowl, this is his 3rd match on this pair today, and I've seen him bury 3 8-pins.
Yep.
2 on 30 and 1 on 29, and when that shot was going pretty high flush, that was a pin I was looking at, and it was the last one to go.
Yeah, it was. Big shot here from Josh.
Yeah, that was a lot better.
Yep, there you go. Smiling to himself, it looks like he finally threw a good one there.
Good.
Yep, those are 2 really good shots that he needed.
Yeah, especially that one in the right lane. Build some confidence. Well, it's about what you expect here. The final 2 bowlers are putting up a lot of strikes.
Yep. You know, you could see it a little bit from Nick after that last strike that he, you know, he's not one to show much emotion when he bowls, and gave a little fist bump to it.
That shot looks good if it hooks.
Ooh.
Got away with the swisher zone.
That was close.
Still got a close match here. Hallman now up in the 8th.
It's wide. He knows it.
It's a good 9.
Yep. Yeah, he, you know, he feels fortunate on that, but slight opening there for Josh. Now he can actually take the lead with a couple strikes here.
It's one thing about Nick. He's such an accurate player where you know right off his hand if he likes it or not. But nonetheless, hooks at the spare. On it.
All right.
Josh's got an opportunity here. Yeah, Nick will finish this match first. Nick still has, what, 250 left?
Yeah.
258?
It's a couple strikes. It's only a 2-pin match. Whoa.
Oh, fortunate
wow.
break for Josh Link.
It looked like it was wide, and then it just dead
If he
left.
could trip the 4, so can I. So now Josh still has 260 on the board. Nick's got 258, so a strike here, and he cannot be shut out.
He's been good on this left lane so far.
Yeah, and having to finish on that right lane, anything can happen in the 10th.
It's got a push. Oh,
Couldn't
wow.
get the 10 out, so now Nick will have an opportunity to step up and win this title.
Not what you'd expect to see right there, a weak 10 from Josh. On the spare.
And as we
a
were
chop for
talking
somebody.
about, Stu Craig.
He's right there.
Shout out to Stu, who's been good at chasing pins all week and writing down scores. And all the volunteers and staff here at North Hill Bowl to make this tournament what it is.
Yeah, everybody up here does a phenomenal job, from Roy, Jeff, and Stu to
Renee,
and
Greg, all the Betty, the owner. So, owner and late wife of Morris Anderson, who the tournament is after. So, here we go. Nick Heilemann with a chance to win the title. It's got to push.
Yep.
And now the count comes into play. He still can go up and double to win.
Yep.
Double and count.
But 3, 6, 10. Not the spare I'd want to be shooting in this position.
No, I think I've missed this about 6 different ways.
You would expect Nick with his accuracy, he'll be okay and
On
looks
the spare?
good. Yeah, that's a very good spare.
So here you go. This is kind of what you want. NDBowling.com, major title at stake. You're up here in the 10th. A double and count to win. Didn't throw a great ball the last time on this lane.
Now a little wide. I mean, as long as he keeps his break point in on the left lane, it seems to be fine. It's close. Just can't get the 10 out. Well, it's going to give Josh a chance. You need the spare, though, to force a double. Nick taking a good look at the scoreboard there, too.
Yep. If he picks this up, the count is still critical in the next shot. On the spare.
A little stick or something, but one of the purest arm swings for going out spares. Six pins to force a double.
And a very timely North Hill Bowl phone call. Yep, 6 pins is important here.
Yeah, that'll be enough.
Yep. So 233 for Nick Heilemann, and now he will sit and wait as Josh Link will need a double and 4 to tie, double and 5 to win.
Yep, and the way that the right lane has been hooking for him,
it's no guarantee.
No, you almost think he needs to make at least a one-board move just to be safe. But
I believe he's throwing a Storm Phase 2, which is a very popular ball in the Storm line. This is what you want, ball in hand, 10th frame.
It's close. It's a good shot.
First one. Heck of a shot in the moment.
Yeah. Said he gets it to that spot about 5, and it's in the pocket every time.
Strike and 5 to claim the NDBowling.com Major Championship and a $4,000 top prize here at the shootout. It's got to have a strike.
Close again. Oh, he got it.
I thought he got a little fast with that one. It was fortunate to carry it out.
Look, he got it into that in-between zone for him where it didn't quite make it, but
heck of a shot.
With that kind of power, I mean.
Heck of a shot in the moment. Still need 5. Still need 5 to win. Running straight down the middle. Yep.
Absolutely.
And Josh Link is your 17th annual Morris Anderson Memorial Shootout champion. So congratulations to Josh, and another great weekend for Nick. We will get a word with Josh momentarily. But what a final match, 239 to 233. And what a day of bowling, and what a 2-week span for Josh. I mean, we'll have to ask him. Win the shootout in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, that's one of the better title matches I think we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
You know, we've had some drama with, you know, Brady, was it last year, almost shooting 300?
Yep.
But it's been a while since it's been, you know, double the win from anyone.
Okay, we'll do a little trophy presentation here, and then we'll get a word with Josh. Once again, I'm Darren Seanie with NDBowling.com, joined by Ken Fletcher for live coverage here of the 17th annual Morris Anderson Memorial Shootout on NDBowltv. Nick Heilemann, another runner-up finish here at the shootout. He does have a title in 2017, but definitely a mainstay here on our show. So,
well, you'd think as long as they want to keep coming up here that.
Okay, it looks like we are going to get a word with Josh first. Josh doesn't want to talk to us, but he's going to anyways.
Yep.
All right, Josh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's go back into the booth, and we are joined by shootout champion Josh Link. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you won the Storm Utah Open last week.
Yeah.
You come up here to Minot, you win $4,000 here at the shootout. How does it feel?
Kind of speechless.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It looks like it.
So what was going through your mind that title match? I mean, Nick was running them, then had problems carrying, gives you a shot in the 10th. What was your game plan going into the 10th there?
Just make a good shot. I mean, the right lane, I tugged it on the first two on that side, so I told myself just get it to where I needed, down at the break point, let the ball do the work.
Yeah, just get it to the spot. And I actually thought your second shot in the 10th was a little left and
It was.
firm,
Looked like it, yeah.
but
It
you got
was.
it into that swisher zone and you carried. So
Yeah.
very good. So what was the main game plan this week? I know you qualified. You were -9. You qualified right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
What changed from yesterday to today that got you over the edge and got that #1 seed?
Well, I've been coming here for the last few years, and each year I've qualified, and come Sunday, I try to get into a comfort zone.
Sure.
I can be honest, I'm not that good playing right. It's not my game. If you watched the Utah Open last week, and I was lofting 7th arrow. So being left is my comfort zone, but I know coming into Sunday, like how last year went, I ended up making a big move to the right, shot 289 the last game. So my game plan was stay as far right as possible and let the transition, stay with the grind pretty much. Let the pattern give me what I needed.
Sure. And you gave yourself one shot for the title. You know, the #1 seed's always the best spot to be in.
Yeah.
And I know Ken and I were talking earlier in the show. We've watched you bowl here over the years, and we think you're so much more in control. And your game shows.
Yeah.
And here you are with the title. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yep, for sure. Thank you, guys.
Yep, congratulations, Josh.
Josh Link, the winner of the 17th annual Morris Anderson Memorial Shootout here on NDBowltv. Ken, any final thoughts?
You know, we called it pretty early today, I think. You know, once Josh got going, you could see he was going to be really tough to beat today, and, you know, didn't disappoint. He bowled the game that we expected, and fun title match to watch, fun show to watch.
And absolutely another winner. We've only had one repeat winner, so this is our, 16th different winner here at the shootout.
Yep.
For those of you joining us, like next year is going to be a $2,700 300 game pot. So coming out to the shootout next year, you're always bound to get close to those 120 entries. Great staff, great tournament. There's a good food they give you after qualifying on Saturday, and a lot of money up for grabs. So if you're looking to bowl a tournament, keep the shootout on the radar. There are some other tournaments you can bowl by going to NDBowling.com, clicking on that upcoming events page. There's some tournaments coming up that you might want to take a shot at. So I think that about does it for us.
Yep, I would think so.
We're going to be both bowling down in Mandan next weekend. NDBowltv will not be there. That show will be on Western North Dakota NBC on Sunday at 11:30. So those of you in Western North Dakota, tune in to NBC next Sunday for the finals of the KFYR TV Bowling Classic. We will then be going to Aberdeen for the Sherving Scratch Singles. And then NDBowltv will go down to the NDBowling.com Classic February 29th in Moorhead at Sunset Lanes. So that will round out our season. And so any information on those, go to NDBowling.com. Let's take one final look at our lanes here. And once again, thank you to the staff here at North Hill Bowl for once again allowing us to cover their event. And we will be back next season. So for NDBowling.com, I'm Darren Seanie alongside Ken Fletcher saying good night from Minot.